everyone, my name is Roya, and today I will be telling you all about the 4 books that I read in the first half of June. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the one that I DNF'd at halfway through, and this is The Catswold Portal by Shirley Rousseau Murphy. So this book actually had a lot of potential. It started off pretty alright. I thought for sure that even if I wasn't super enamored with it, that I was still going to read the whole thing, but then once it started shaping up to be more of a 2-star read than anything else, I kind of just, I don't know, kept questioning why I was reading it at every step of the way, and that just really sucked. So basically this book is about a princess who at like age 9 got her memory erased, and because her parents were killed and all that other stuff, she had to go in hiding. So she has grown up thinking that she's like some random chick with a different name and everything, and having no memory of any of that stuff. So then she figures out that something's up. Suddenly, even though nothing really happened, she just like got it into her head, basically, that something's not quite right about her life, that something is being kept from her, so she goes and finds out, and blah blah blah. It's just really weird, and basically, so while the writing style itself is really not that bad, the storytelling is what absolutely killed me. So the entire time throughout this book, pretty much right from the beginning, we get all kinds of detail that we really don't need. So for instance, in the middle of a chapter, there will suddenly be like a page-long backstory about someone else entirely who hasn't even been introduced yet, or something like that, and then it goes right back to what the chapter was actually about, and it's like, why is that at that point in the story? Like, why couldn't we have gotten some of this, at varying parts of the story, or at least when the character is actually introduced, that type of thing. Or like that, like this type of thing happens throughout the story. Like there's even a part where, this douchebag henchman guy of the Queen's is like going and doing something nefarious, and we suddenly get this like page-long backstory about how he's sleeping with the Queen and how that came about and all this other stuff. And it's like, first of all, the Queen and him have not yet had any scenes together in the whole book yet, by that point. So do we really need to know that? And then, like, is that backstory relevant in any way? No. Once I got closer and closer to the halfway point of the book, more and more of the detail that we got was just, like, really boring stuff that has nothing to do with anything. And then pretty much throughout the story as well, people, like, just know stuff without any explanation about how they found that out or anything, or even any reaction from anyone else about, hey, how did you know that? It's just kind of accepted that they found that out, and it's never explained why. There are also things about the setting that we never get any context for. So it'll suddenly say, that something in the setting is a certain way, but it won't explain what that even is, or something like that. Like that happened throughout the story, and it just got to the point where it got really frustrating. Throughout the entire story, there's this primal law that is basically no murder can occur in the kingdom. Like, nobody's allowed to murder anybody. So instead, people, if someone wants someone dead, they just figure out some other way to get them killed. That's like some accident or something, because they're not allowed to murder anybody. And it's not explained why that is, or what it is that's keeping anybody from breaking that law or anything. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's literally just a convenient plot device to have a way for people to get out of situations where, because they can't just be killed, where it would normally be a situation where they would have just been killed off, but the primal law exists, so they can't just get killed off. They have to get put in some situation where they could die or they could get out of it or something. And so it's literally just a convenient plot device. And also, don't even get me started on the magic system. There is no system to it at all. Literally, you can do whatever you want at all. Like, literally just stuff. People were just suddenly able to do things, just whatever, willy-nilly, just completely without any kind of limitations at all. Anybody can do whatever they want with magic. like at all, and there was no system to it whatsoever, and it was so annoying the whole time. So halfway through this book, I decided that I was not going to continue because I was really just wasting my time. The only reason I even really held on and kept reading it is basically just because, I don't know, like morbid curiosity, because it's not like I cared about the characters at all. I just really wanted to keep just like see what happened, kind of, or see where the story goes, or if it gets any better, anything like that. Oh, and another thing that really frustrated me was how beautiful the main character is. Like, at any opportunity possible, it is shoved down our throats that this woman is like supermodel beautiful. And even when she gets turned into a cat and she has to be a cat for like part of the book, she's like a beautiful cat, and I'm just like, oh my god, shut up. I am really, really tired of beautiful main characters who are just constantly told that they're beautiful, or and like at any point, like there were actually two, not one but two separate instances in this book where the main character sees her reflection and is like amazed at how beautiful she is. And it's basically like that's almost the only character description we get, is so like she sees herself in a mirror and it's like she had green eyes and black hair, and it's like, dude, shut up. Give me a break. Like, I literally DNF'd another book earlier this month for that exact same thing because it was so frustrating. But then also there's just the added bonus in this one of this chick just being, you know, constantly told that she's beautiful. It's just constantly shoved down our throats. I got really sick of it. If a character is beautiful, you don't need to say it, because people automatically picture characters as the most beautiful that they can picture. Even if a character is like really ugly and they have like boils all over their face, the readers would probably still like picture them as being at least somewhat pretty in some way, even if they're not supposed to be, because that's just how our brains work. We just gravitate towards prettiness, and so we don't need to be like yelled at about how pretty this chick is. It's stupid. So anyway, I am just like so done with this book. I can't believe it took me this long before DNFing it, honestly. Like, I don't know why. I don't understand why I kept reading it. I don't know, because it's not like I even cared about the characters. Anyway, that was a total rant. I'm really sorry I went hella off the rails there. But anyway, the next book that I read the first book actually that I read in the month of June was The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. This is about vampires in New Orleans and all this stuff, and it's the kind of thing that teen me, who was into Anne Rice and stuff, would have been all over, having like a young adult vampire book that's also in New Orleans, all of that. And so I was really interested in reading it, and a lot of people have been saying that it's really boring and it's kind of meh, but I actually really liked it. At first, I really was not sure about the pacing. It did get really boring at times, but the second half of the book, like, it was actually really good the whole way through. And, you know, all the characters are people of color, and the romance in it is pretty good. And by the end, it left off on a total cliffhanger. And by the end, I was like, whoa, like, I actually really want to continue this series. This sounds really good. So so it was really good. I really liked it. The next book that I read was Black Buck by Matteo Ascaripour. This is about a black man who works at Starbucks and starts working at a tech startup, and basically just kind of realizing how much he's underestimated and how much the tech industry sucks. And it's basically like The Devil Wears Prada, only for the tech industry. It's like that. It's like he sells his soul basically to this career when he wouldn't have given a shit at the beginning of the book. Next, I read Rebel Sisters by Tochi Onyebuchi. This is the sequel to War Girls. This series basically is about some girls who have like machine parts and stuff like that. It's definitely a really weird series in that it's hard to get into. It's really hard to read. The pacing is just so weird. reading it is like going through mud or something, but it's actually very fascinating at the same time. It makes a lot of really good points about how um kind of how much the government controls people, and how, because in this book it's a far future version of this world as we know it, basically. And um it goes into a lot of detail about how the government can actually control what people even see. Like, so if, yeah, so they can, if something's happening right in front of you, you could just not see it, and even erase people's memories. And it's just really interesting and really weird. So, I mean, I'm not sure if I necessarily recommend this series to everybody, just because it is really hard to read and really hard to get into. But it actually really reminded me of N.K. Jemison's Broken Earth trilogy. It's really weird how many actual similarities are in there. Overall, aside from the Cotswold Portal, this was a pretty good reading month so far. I am a little bit disappointed that I wasted so much time reading such a disappointing book, but that's okay. And the only reason I even was able to finish the other three was because I actually listened to them on audiobook mostly, because my work had me do a lot of paperwork this month instead of my usual just being on the phone the entire time. So once I was like super comfortable, doing the paperwork, I just listened to audiobooks, and so I finished one like every day. But anyway, so that was my first half of the reading month. Let me know if you've read any of these, have any thoughts on them, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!